Well, it did work, so yay. Thank you again. This is take two. It was, I don't know, when it came back, it was on a different screen. I don't know what is going on with the volume too, because I noticed that I couldn't hear anything. So I'm like trying to, can I yell? I don't want to yell. I don't want to have to yell. But I couldn't hear anything, and the volume is all the way up. Says microphone access, cameras in use. I don't know what's going on, but I'm trying to do it without having to yell. I don't want to yell. Um, I do have a microphone, but I don't think it'll connect to here because it's got the big thing, but maybe they have an adapter or something. I don't know. I'm sorry if you can't hear me. I talk very low. Ah, sorry, you gotta adjust on the stools. I'm on stools, not chairs, and it's not very comfortable to be here, but it is. I'll get it. I'll get it. It's just my leg is like not agreeing with me today. I don't know what's going on. But we're gonna get through Genesis, the rest of Genesis, and then we're gonna review it. Not today. I don't know if we'll review it today, but definitely gonna get through 49 and 50. Hopefully. Yay! I love you. All right, so 49 is Jacob's last words to his sons. And then it runs into the end of 49 is Jacob's death and burial. And that runs into chapter 50. And then Joseph reassures his brother, and then the death of Joseph. And we already read God intended it all for good, and we're going to go over that one too. It says, actually, we should probably do that one first. You intended to harm me, Joseph told his brothers, but God intended it all for good in Genesis 50:20. Ooh, I love it. His brothers had sold him into slavery, but God had used even their harmful intentions to save lives. Joseph had risen to become prime minister of Egypt and had wisely set aside food from the years of plenty for the years of famine, saving many lives as a result. And Joseph had forgiven his brothers. If we are God's children, then he not only rules over everything in our lives, but also amazingly uses everything that happens in our lives, even our difficult family background, problems, and adversities for good. We don't know how he does it, and sometimes we question his dealings with us, but we can trust him to do this. Yes, we can. And it says, see, why do bad things happen in life? And that's on page 1025. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, so chapter 49 is Jacob's last words to his sons. Then Jacob called together all his sons and said, gather around me, and I will tell you what will happen to each of you in the days to come. Come and listen, you sons of Jacob. Listen to Israel, your father, because remember, Jacob meant Israel. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my strength, the child of my vigorous youth. You are first in rank and first in power. That's a first. But you are as unruly as a flood, and you will be first no longer. There it is. For you went to bed with my wife. Oh man, you defiled my marriage couch. Simeon and Levi are two of a kind. Their weapons are instruments of violence. May I never join in their meetings. May I never be a party to their plans. Um, for in their anger they murdered men. Ooh. And they crippled oxen just for sport. See, it's not fun. It's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to kill animals just for sport. It's not a sport. I I'm sorry, push this back just so I don't accidentally push the button talking to myself for a minute. All right. A curse on their anger, for it is fierce. A curse on their wrath, for it is cruel. I will scatter them among descendants of Jacob. I will disperse them throughout Israel. Oh, man. That's not good, right? For their anger, they murdered men, and they crippled oxen just for sport. A curse on their anger, for it is fierce. A curse on their wrath, for it is cruel. I will scatter them among the descendants of Jacob. I will disperse them throughout Israel. Judah, your brothers will praise you. You will grasp your enemies by the neck. All your relatives will bow before you. Judah, my son, is a young lion that has finished eating its prey. Like a lion, he crouched and lies down, like a lioness who dares to rouse him. The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from his descendants. And we know that that is seeds, where it says, or if Hebrew from between his feet. Oh, the scepter will not depart from between his feet, or until the tribute is brought to him and the people obey, traditionally rendered until Shiloh comes. Um, till the coming of the one who. So his scepter will not depart from Judah, nor his ruler staff from his descendants. So this one, oh, okay, and from his descendants, and then it says, or from between his feet, until the coming of the one to whom it belongs, the one whom all nations will honor. So this must be the first speaking of Jesus. And it says until tribute is brought to him or the people obey, traditionally rendered until Shiloh comes. My nose is so itchy. Why? Nothing. I was just like, why? Oh, it's not. I don't know. He ties his fowl to a grapevine, the colt of his donkey to a choice vine. He washes his clothes in wine, his robes in the blood of grapes. He washes his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine, and his teeth are whiter than milk. Zebulun will settle by the seashore and will be a harbor for ships. His borders will extend to Sidon. Issachar is a sturdy donkey resting between two saddle packs. When he sees how good the countryside is and how pleasant the land, he will bend his shoulder to the load and submit himself to hard labor. Dan will govern his people like any other tribe in Israel. Dan will be a snake beside the road, a poisonous vapor along the path that bites the horse's hooves, so its rider is thrown off. I trust in you for salvation, O Lord. Gad will be attacked by marauding bands, and he will attack them when they retreat. Asher will dine on rich foods and produce foods Asher will dine on rich food and produce foods fit for a king. Naphtali is a doe set free that bears beautiful fawns. Joseph is the fowl of a wild donkey, the fowl of a wild donkey at a spring, one of the wild donkeys on the ridge. Or Joseph is a fruitful tree beside a spring. His branches reach over the wall. The meaning of the Hebrew is uncertain. Archers attack him savagely, but shoot at him and harass him. But his bow remained taunt, and his arms were strengthened by his hands of the mighty one of Jacob, by the shepherd, the rock of Israel. And there it is. It says it, the shepherd and the rock. May the God of your father help you. May the Almighty bless you with the blessings of the heavens above and the blessings of the water depths below, and blessings of the breast and womb. May my fatherly blessings on you surpass the blessings of my ancestors or of the ancient mountains, reaching to the heights of the eternal hills. May these blessings rest on the head of Joseph, who is prince among his brothers. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf, devouring his enemies in the morning and then dividing his plunder in the evening. These are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father said, as he told his sons goodbye. He blessed each one with an appropriate message. He blessed each 12 sons with an appropriate message. So we have Reuben, Simeon, Judah, Zebulun. Hold on, say that again. Reuben, Simeon, Judah, Zebulun, Issachar, Dan, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Joseph. That's 10. Benjamin is 11. We're missing one. Reuben, Simeon, Judah, oh, Simeon and Levi. Simeon and Levi, right? So Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Zebulun, Issachar, Dan, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Joseph, and Benjamin. That's the 12 tribes of Israel. So that's the whole thing, right? The Jacob means Israel. So the 12 tribes of Israel are his 12 sons. That's awesome, right? So Jacob's death and burial, which continues on to chapter 50, and then Joseph reassures his brothers, and then the death of Joseph. Meh. So we're losing Jacob and Joseph. That makes me sad. All right, so first we're losing Jacob, which is the father of Israel, the father of the 12 tribes, right? Then Jacob instructed them, "Soon I will die and join my ancestors. Bury me with my father and grandfather in the cave of the field of Ephron and Hiti." This is the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre in Canaan. It's a lot of names just for even like places, right? So the field of Machpelah near Mamre in Haiti. Permanent burial site. There, Abraham and his wife Sarah are buried. There, Isaac and his wife Rebecca are buried. And there I buried Leah. So we lost Abraham and his wife Sarah, Isaac and his wife, and now it's going to be Jacob and Leah. Is a plot of land and the cave that is my grandfather Abraham. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Um, Abraham brought from the Hittites. When Jacob had finished this charge to his sons, he drew his feet into the bed, breathed his last breath, and joined his ancestors in death. When Jacob had finished his charge for the sons, so when Jacob had told all 12 sons their story, or whatever it was that he had told them, right? Blessings or curses or whatever was going to happen. He told them what happened or what was going to happen. And then he told them, soon I'm going to die. Um, soon I'm going to die. This is where I want you to bury me. And then he breathed the last breath. That's really sad. So now we're in chapter 50. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. And then Joseph told the physicians who served him to embalm his father's body. So Jacob, Hebrew Israel, see note 35:21. It's for the hot dog carts. Shut that down for the moment. Um, was embalmed. So Israel was embalmed. 35:21. I just want to go back because Israel was embalmed. So isn't Israel a place that they've been saying this whole time is like Israel, the people of Israel, Israel, Israel? So how did Israel become embalmed? 35, 2, 3, 4. Jacob sounds like the Hebrew word for heel and deceiver. Israel means God fights. So Hebrew Israel also in 35:22, the name Jacob and Israel are often interchanged throughout the Old Testament, referring sometimes to the individual partridge and sometimes to the nation. So if they mean to the nation of Israel that was embalmed, what does that mean? Because why would they have the the little star thing for us to read it if it meant Jacob and Israel the person? What is Israel the person? How is like didn't I say that before, right? Because how but it says heel, Heel, and deceiver. So Jacob is a deceiver. Individual, partridge, and sometimes to the nation. Maybe that's where the partridge, P-A-R-T. Sorry. P-A-T-R. P-A-T-R. I-A. Which would make sense. A. So it says it's like the line, the male head of the family or tribe. Any of those biblical features regarding as father of the human race, especially Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and their forefathers are the sons of Jacob. Ooh, persecute, precursor, precursor, a person or a thing that comes before another of the same kind, a forerunner, a substance from which another is formed, especially by metabolic, which means related to or deriving from a metabolism of a living organisms. And it just keeps going deeper and deeper as far as the the word, but it's partridge is the male head. So sometimes it's speaking to the head, which is Jacob, the head of the father of all the 12 tribes, right? Or sometimes to the nation of the 12 tribes of Israel. But that's okay. So Jacob was embalmed. The embalming process took the usual 40 days. There's something with 40 days and 40 nights. Again, how many? So Jesus was 40 days and 40 nights. They went 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness. We are learning about Isaiah and is it Isaiah? No. King Ahab, Jezebel, and Isaiah. I think it was Isaiah. The fire and the whole like thing. Something there was 40 days. There's significance with 40 days because this was the first of the 40 days. Embalming took 40 days, and the Egyptian mourned his death for 70 days. So 40 days for embalming and 30 more for mourning all together. 70 days of mourning. How do you count mourning? Especially like now, like with what I'm going through, I'm mourning. I'm like some days are good, some days are bad. How do you count? Like back then, is it just like you mourn for 70 days and then you went, you know what I mean? Like how do you get over it? And then my children, that's what I'm mourning. I've been mourning for 18 years. 18 years. I don't understand what the last 18 years were for. And you can mourn things that are still alive because I have for 18 years. And now that my babies are having babies, I'm irrelevant and I'm confused. I don't understand. Um, I don't understand. But anyways, how do you mourn like that in a timely manner, right? How do you mourn in a timely manner? I don't know. I don't know. How long is 70 days? Because it's been almost a year for this, and then 18 years, like I said, 18 years for mourning over the loss of my children. And then now my daughters are having babies, and I'm irrelevant. I don't even allowed to get pictures. I'm not even allowed for nothing. Like I don't understand. So, yeah. When the period of mourning was over, Joseph approached Pharaoh's advisors and said, "Please do me this favor and speak to Pharaoh on my behalf. Tell him that my father made me swear an oath. He said to me, 'Listen, I am about to die. Take my body back to the land of Canaan and bury me in the tomb I prepared for myself. So please allow me to go and bury my father. After his burial, I will return without delay.' Pharaoh agreed to Joseph's request. 'Go and bury your father, and he made you a promise,' he said. So Joseph went up to bury his father. He was accompanied by all the Pharaoh's officials, all the senior members of the Pharaoh's household, and the senior officers in Egypt. Joseph also took his entire household and his brothers and their households, so 12 brothers and their household, all the uh, Pharaoh's officials and all their household, right? Um, and his brothers and their household, but they left their little children and flocks and herds in the land of Goshen. So they left the little babies. A great number of chariots and charioteers accompanied Joseph. When they arrived at the threshing floor of Atad, near the Jordan River, they held a very great and solemn memorial service with a 7-day period of mourning for Joseph's father. So now it's 7 days, so 77 days. The local residents, the Canaanites, watched them mourning all at the threshing floor. What is the threshing floor? What does that mean? Is it like a watering thing? That's where my mind is going. A threshing floor. T-R-E-S-H-I-N-G. Yes. A ground or floor space for threshing or treading out grain. So, like a stomping ground. I guess that's where the word stomping ground comes from. That's pretty cool. Um, 7 day period. The local residents, Canaanites, watched them on the threshing floor. Then they renamed the place, which is near the Jordan, El Abel Mezarem, for they said, "This is a place of deep mourning for the Egyptians." And that means mourning of the Egyptians. Abel Mezarem means mourning of the Egyptians. Oh. So Jacob's sons did as he had commanded them. They carried his body to the land of Canaan and buried him to a cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre. This is the cave that Abraham had bought as a permanent burial site for Ephron the Hittite. Joseph reassures his brothers. We're in the last of chapter 50. After burying Jacob, Joseph returned to Egypt. After burying Jacob, Joseph returned to Egypt with his brothers and all who had accompanied him to his father's burial. But now that their father was dead, Joseph's brothers became fearful. Now Joseph would show his anger and pay us back for all the wrong that we did to him. Can you imagine though, like that? That's why I don't like to do bad, because just thinking like that. And it's Elijah, right? So it was Elijah, because I got it on the thing right now. Elijah and King Ahab. This is Elijah and fire from heaven. We watched a video and learned about it yesterday. But this now back to Joseph reassures his brothers. Um, Many years ago they threw away his brother and now know who he is. So can you, like, the fear? Oh my God, he really did reign over us. Is he really going to kill us? He kept us alive for our father, and now his father's, right? But so they sent this message to Joseph: "Before your father died, he instructed us to say to you, please forgive your brothers for the great wrong that they did to you. For their sin is treated you so cruelly. So we, the servants of God of your father, beg you to forgive our sins." When Joseph received the message, he broke down and wept. Then his brothers came and threw themselves down before Joseph. "Look, we are your slaves," they said. But Joseph replied, "Don't be afraid of me. Am I God that I can punish you? You intended, right here it is. You intended to harm me, but God intended it all for good. He brought me to this position so I could save the lives of many people. No, don't be afraid. I will continue to take care of you and your children." So he reassured them by speaking kindly to them. He could have, look at what you guys did. Yeah, now dad's dead. He could have had all that anger, right? Now we have the death of Joseph. Now we have the death of Joseph. So Joseph and his brothers and their families continued to live in Egypt. Joseph lived to the age of 110. He lived to see 3 generations of descendants of his son Ephraim. Ooh. He lived to see the birth of the children of Manasseh's son, Micah, whom he claimed as his own. Ah! And it says Hebrew who were born on Joseph's knee. Soon I will die, Joseph told his brothers, but God will surely come to help you and lead you out of the land of Egypt. He will bring you back to the land he solemnly promised to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and now to Jacob. Then Joseph made the sons of Israel swear on oath, and he said, when God comes to help you and lead you back, you must take my bones with you. So Joseph died at the age of 110. The Egyptians embalmed him, and his body was placed in the coffin in Egypt. It's really sad because we lost two people in this situation, and it's really sad. So our next video, we're just gonna do a little quick review of each of the chapters. I'd like to go over all the little footnotes, all these little blue, what the stories are about. Where are we? Way over here. Like the account of creation we learned about. Actually, we can do it now. We'll do it now. Might as well, right? We're right here. Chapter 1, the account of creation, the man and women in Eden. So this is like the start of the world, right? The man and women sin. Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is where the sin begins. Paradise lost. God's judgment. Adam and Eve, the fall of humanity. Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel? Oh my gosh, can you imagine the descendants of Cain, the descendants of Seth, the descendants of Adam? A world gone wrong. The story of Noah. The flood covers the earth. The flood resides. God confirms his covenant. Noah's son. So we're already we done already sinned, we done already died, we done already had a covenant with God. The rainbow, the actual meaning of the rainbow. God confirms his covenant right here with the rainbow. Noah's sons, descendants of Japheth, descendants of Ham, descendants of Shem. How many descendants have we already been through in just one chapter of the Bible? How many generations in just one chapter? Then we have the conclusion, the Tower of Babel, one of my favorites, The line of descent from Shem to Abram, the family of Terah, the call of Abram, Abraham and Sarah in Egypt. Abraham and Lot separate. Abraham rescues Lot. That was a lot already, right? Abraham and Lot go, oh my God. The Lord's covenant promise to Abraham. Oh, we missed Melchizedek blesses Abram. The Lord's covenant promise to Abram. The birth of Ishmael. Abram is named Abraham. Sarah is named Sarah. Oops, the mark of the covenant. We forgot that one. Abram is named Abraham, the mark of the covenant, and Sarah is named Sarah. The mark of the covenant was what? Circumcision. Sarah is the name named Sarah. A son is promised to Sarah. Abraham intercedes for Sodom and Gomorrah, destroyed. Another, right? So he destroyed the whole world, and he promised not to destroy the whole world, but he did destroy Sodom and Gomorrah after the flood, right? Lot and his daughters. Abraham deceives Abimelech. Ooh, the birth of Isaac. Hagar and Ishmael are sent away. Abraham's covenant with Abimelech. Abraham's faith tested, the burial of Sarah, a wife for Isaac, the death of Abraham, Ishmael's descendants, the birth of Esau and Jacob. Esau sells his birthright for food. Isaac deceives Abimelech. Conflict over water rights. A lot of deception here in this Genesis, huh? Isaac's covenant with Abimelech. Jacob steals Esau's blessing. So Esau sold. How does? Oh yeah. So he sold it and he stole it from the father, the blessings. Ooh, so he sold his birthright for food, and then Jacob stole his birthright. But that wasn't technically his fault. That was his mom's, right? His mom. It says obey your parents, right? Jacob flees to Peyton Aram. Jacob's dream at Bethel. Jacob arrives at Peyton Aram. Jacob marries Leah and Rachel. Jacob's many children. Jacob's wealth increases. Jacob flees from Laman. Laman pursues Jacob. Jacob's treaty with Laman. Jacob sends gifts to Esau. Jacob wrestles with God. Jacob and Esau make peace. This is a lot in just one chapter, right? It's a lot. It's a whole lot of family. We have Cain and Abel, Jacob and Esau, a lot of family conflicts, a lot of deception, a lot of look, revenge against Shechem, rape, murder, stealing. Like, it is a lot. Sorry, you're gonna had an itch on my back that I couldn't reach. Right? That's a lot. Jacob returns to Bethel. The death of Rachel and Isaac's more descendants of Esau. Rulers of Edom. Joseph dreams. Joseph sold into slavery. Judah and Tamar. Joseph in Potiphar's house. Joseph put in prison. Joseph interprets two dreams. The Pharaoh's dreams. Joseph's made ruler of Egypt. Joseph's brothers go to Egypt. The brothers return to Egypt. A feast at Joseph's palace. A feast at Joseph's palace. Joseph's silver cup. Judah speaks for his brothers. Joseph reveals his identity. Pharaoh invites Jacob to to Egypt. Sorry, say that again. Pharaoh invites Jacob to Egypt. Jacob's journey to Egypt. Jacob blesses Pharaoh. Joseph's leadership in the famine. Jacob family arrives in Goshen. Jacob blesses Manasseh and Ephraim and then takes them as their own son. Jacob's last words to his son. Jacob's death and burial. Joseph reassures his brothers that he's not going to kill them even though they tried him harm. He said that you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. And the death of Joseph. And now we are in Exodus. I'm so excited. Thank you for spending time with me. I got a lot to do, a lot on my plate, and a lot to do. And I hope you guys enjoyed your time with me. Don't forget, share, like, follow, comment, tell me compliments, complaints, whatever, let me see you. I want to see you. You guys are seeing me. I want to interaction. Share, follow, love me because I love you. Just kidding, but seriously, I do. I love you. God loves you. We all are love men. So all we got to do is just love each other even through the hard times. Look at Genesis. in Genesis, just one chapter of the book. How many deceptions, how many family lies, how much does it say to point to God, that God will lead us through the darkness? And like I said, the whole morning thing, you take as long as you need, but God has you. Need anything? I'm right here. My Facebook did get hacked, but I have a phone and a number and whatnot. So, mwah. I love you bunches. I'll see you back here shortly on Exodus. Yeah. I love you guys. Be good. Have a great day. Mwah.